What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Volts Comics and More. I'm Alex, and today is going to be my full Avengers Infinity War review, so please watch out for any spoilers if you guys haven't seen it yet. I probably won't go over the entire movie, just pretty much some of the biggest spoilers and the biggest things that happen. So again, be prepared if you guys have not seen the movie yet. And let me know in the comments below if you guys did see it, what you guys thought about it, and where you guys think that, or what you guys think that this means for the rest of the MCU. So let's get started. Alright, so first off, amazing movie. The directors, the cast, everybody did such an amazing job on it. Josh Brolin, they really pulled his character through for Thanos, and they really delivered. The only difference was pretty much the reasoning for Thanos' whole quest, for his whole want of power. You know, the difference between the comic and the movie was totally just kind of different, but still for the MCU purposes, they still made it work. Because I've said this before in other videos that the MCU is going to do what they want to do, and they already have stuff that's set up through their own timeline, and they're not going to go page by page with comic books. Of course, we got some Easter eggs and stuff like that, and that's why we talk about the movies, just because of the different little Easter eggs in them, and all the great things that come with it. So, just kind of, you know, bear in mind if you guys haven't seen it yet and you guys are still watching this, that it's not going to be 100% comic book accurate as far as like why Thanos wants. It's not so much what he wants, it's different, it's why he wants it. Because in the comics, if you go down to one of my other videos for the Infinity Gauntlet, we see that he wants the Infinity Stone or the Infinity Stones, or gems as they were called back then, to prove himself to death so that he could win her love, and to pretty much rewrite all the universe with a single snap. And they do keep referencing that. They reference it 2 or 3 times before he actually snaps. So yeah, he does end up snapping at the end. Like how Infinity War ended is pretty much how the Infinity Gauntlet storyline begins. So that's why everybody keeps guessing that, oh, next movie's gonna be Infinity Gauntlet. It's been said time and time again that, or the directors have gone over and over, like no, Infinity Gauntlet is nowhere in the title. So, but I think that the title has been confirmed. I keep hearing, one second I'll hear that's confirmed, next second I'll hear, oh, it's a rumored title. But the rumored confirmation, I guess, is Endgame for the Avengers. And at the end of Infinity War, you actually see Doctor Strange talk about this is the Endgame. And pretty much half of this is one spoiler I won't necessarily get too, I won't dive too much into, but a lot of the heroes get dusted. And I know that sounds like a major spoiler, but basically the part that I'm not telling you is who all got dusted. But all the heroes pretty much got dusted, and, well, not all of them, but most of them got dusted. And what that basically means is, if you guys have seen different memes out there, or or if you've heard that phrase recently in different stuff like on Facebook or Twitter or something like that. It basically means after Thanos snapped his fingers, all these heroes, and not just the heroes, but the people, and all the universe had been wiped out, and they kind of just slowly started dusting away, and just kind of turning into dust particles, and just kind of went with the wind. One thing that I will mention is that Spider-Man got dusted, and one of his biggest things was, it was kind of a Doctor Who reference, if you guys are into Doctor Who at all. It was the 10th Doctor, David Tennant's Doctor, and before he turned into the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, he said something along the lines of, "I don't want to go," and Spider-Man just clung to Tony Stark, and was just like, "Please, sir, I don't want to go." And I mean, that was probably like one of the hardest parts in the movie to not get choked up over, like to not cry over. But for me, like if you read the comics, and if you don't even have to read the comics, if you just know what Marvel already has planned and what they've like confirmed for the future movies, you know that everything's fine, because Tom Holland is signed on for at least like 2 or 3 more Spider-Man movies. So Tom Holland is definitely coming back. So the rest of the characters that also got dusted, I feel like are coming back. Like, I know that they said whoever dies in Infinity War, their death is permanent, and they're not going to be like resurrected, or they're not going to be coming back at all. But I think that the characters who got dusted, those are different than the other deaths that we're seeing in the movie. There's a couple other deaths I'm kind of on the fence about, and one of them being, well, both of them being the Vision and Gamora. They were not dusted. As a matter of fact, Vision was the exact opposite. If that is the exact opposite, because basically Vision died like twice, and because what ends up happening is that Scarlet Witch, they find out that there's not going to be any easy route, because this whole entire time they're trying to protect Vision, and Vision is in Shuri's lab in Wakanda, and she's trying to get the Mind Stone out, and they realize that, hey, everybody, is in trouble down there. We need to go save them. We need to go we need to step up. And Scarlet Witch, she ends up going down there, and they're, everyone's like, why were you up there the entire time? Why weren't you coming down here? Because she just wiped out like almost the entire army. I mean, she just, we see these like big specks that kind of come up from the ground, and she just kind of like rolls them and throws them up like it's nothing. And, everyone's just like, why weren't you down here helping us? Because they're trying to get the Outriders, the Outriders finally broke through the shield, and also came from underground and back up to avoid the shield and stuff like that. So that was just kind of a whole, there could have been a lot of suspenseful moments kind of dodged there if Scarlet Witch had just been there and just kind of took control and was like, okay, well, the Outriders are gone. And, I mean, not to say she defeated them all, but basically, the Vision step in, and he was already damaged. Like, if you see during the trailers where Corvus Glaive is trying to get the Mind Stone out of his head, he does get very badly damaged during that fight. So the fact that everybody thought that, okay, this is where Vision's going to die, up until the point where they actually started showing some clips where Vision was with Shuri, and Shuri was trying to help him and save him and everything. He does get, at that point with Corvus Glaive, he does get very wounded. He's... I was kind of starting to think that the whole scene with Shuri wasn't going to happen. Like, it was kind of that bad. But, because, speaking of things that didn't happen, I know I'm kind of getting off track here with the Vision, but before I forget, the Hulk didn't Hulk out. Like, he hulked out when he was fighting Thanos, and they had like a short kind of powerhouse brawl on the ship, but it ended with Hulk getting his butt kicked, basically. And Heimdall, which was another death. Before Heimdall died, the Hulk Heimdall opened up the Bifrost and sent Hulk shooting towards Earth, and that's when you get Banner, who crashed into the Sanctum Sanctorum and was saying, Thanos is coming, and that was the point where, well, that was the Silver Surfer moment. That was, in the comics, that's where the Silver Surfer crashed into the Sanctum Sanctorum and said Thanos was coming. So Bruce Banner basically played that role. But after that, he never hulked out again. And actually, there are toys coming out right now, or soon, and a pop vinyl that's coming out soon too, of the Hulk hulking out of the Hulkbuster suit. But that doesn't actually happen. Like, he comes close, but when he comes close, the Hulk is screaming at Banner, like, no! And, you know, it's just, for whatever reason, the Hulk is terrified of coming back out. And the one reason why he could be so terrified is because of the fact that Thanos just kicked his butt, and nobody, nobody else has. Nobody else has beaten him in a fist-to-fist fight. Like, yeah, Thor could have beaten him, but that's because of a lightning shot. It's nobody, when you think about it, nobody actually beat him in a fist-to-fist fight. And, exactly what Thanos did. And so, but the only thing is, though, is that Thanos is nowhere to be seen. Like, I had thought that it was because he was afraid of Thanos, and I was reading something about, in fact, that Thanos was nowhere around there, and just kind of clicked, like, yeah, that makes sense, because he wasn't. So what was the Hulk actually afraid of? Like, why wouldn't the Hulk allow Banner to release him? I don't know. I think that something could be very wrong with, I mean, something's definitely going on in Banner's psyche that is not, he's having some sort of internal conflict with the Hulk. Banner versus Hulk, internal conflict type thing. Which actually has been seen in comics. There was a comic where it was Thanos versus the Hulk, and Thanos kind of goes into like the Hulk's mind and fights with them from in there. So it's very possible that we could be seeing, like, within the next Avenger movie, because they said that the Hulk, ever since Ragnarok, the Hulk's arc storyline has been kind of growing. They're not going to have a regular Hulk movie, but from the Hulk's arc, starting with Ragnarok, going into Infinity War, and then beyond that, so Hulk's arc is still kind of going on, so I definitely think that we could be possibly seeing some sort of inner psyche type fight. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below about that. But to get back to the Vision, so yeah, the Vision did die twice. Thanos, well, Scarlet Witch ends up killing him the first time because they have no other options. She needs to destroy that Mind Stone before Thanos can get to him. And Thanos is just busting through Avenger after Avenger after Avenger to get to uh, to get to the Vision. And one of the things I was completely off on was the Captain America fight scene. He did not die in that. I mean, Thanos kind of... He put up a good fight, Cap did, but Thanos, in the end, just kind of ended up brushing him off. But he walked right past him because his main focus was not... During the whole movie, his main focus really isn't on killing specific people. It's more of... Which I know doesn't make it any better, but it's more of wiping out half of the universe with the Infinity Gauntlet, which would be totally at random. So like there was really no personal vendetta against anybody per se, except for like the people that were trying to keep the Infinity Stones away from him, being like the Guardians, the Avengers, stuff like that. But there was really no like Death. I mean, there's a reason why he's doing all this stuff, but for Death, you know, he was fighting all the Avengers, and he was willing to kill all the Avengers and just rip them through just to show his power, raw strength to her. But here, he was only willing to do that just to get to the stone. So basically what I'm trying to say is if he had all the stones, if they would have just said, okay, well, here you go, we'll give you all the stones, don't worry, here's all your stones, and he probably wouldn't have, I mean, the finger snap was still chosen the ones who were dusted, but he probably wouldn't have cared to, like, fight everybody like he actually did, because that, to me, that's really all he... I mean, maybe he would still, but to me, that's all he really wanted was just the stones, just to do all that. But like I said, it doesn't make it any better. But after the Scarlet Witch destroys the stone, which blows up the Vision into zillions of pieces. I mean, I think it just totally annihilated him. Because you didn't really see like a chunk of a leg flying over here, a chunk of an arm, or, you know, his head, stuff like that. It just kind of, it just all went like up in the cloud of smoke almost. But the Infinity Stone, the Mind Stone, had gotten crushed and was just basically a big cloud of dust and got caught up in the tree. And when Thanos comes over and uses the Time Stone to rebuild the Vision, you see that dust in the tree just kind of swoop back up into the Vision's head, and then Thanos kills the Vision to take the, he just crushes the Vision's head and grabs the stone and shakes out the Vision's pieces and just puts the stone in there. And then you see the Vision's body just turn stone gray, or a light, well, probably like a lighter gray. But anyway, you see his body turn gray and just kind of like fall over, and boom, that's it. But the thing is, though, is that they stopped the body, and Vision does not need an Infinity Stone to survive. However, the fact that they made his body turn gray, like a light alien-ish type gray, was just kind of, I mean, he looked like a dead alien, but it just kind of tells me that, you know, well, this death is probably permanent, but at the same time, like, Shuri's up there doing all sorts of different things, and I almost wonder if, like, one of the first things that she did would have been to duplicate the Vision's processor and all of his micro everything from in his body, and just downloaded it into one of her, like, Wakandan software, or her computers and stuff like that, and build into a new system and have Vision in a newer body, maybe even one more accurate to, like, the newer comics. Because especially now with Stark's nanotech, that's how Stark's suit is working now. Is nanotech's through the arc reactor in his chest that he now has again. Mainly by choice. It was a surgical procedure that he went through, but they don't really touch on that too much. He just kind of gives a quick summary. He and Pepper Potts are talking together, and they just kind of give a quick summary of that. But I don't know. I feel like that's something that they could do for Division, to kind of like bring him back, but it'd be in a different body. So, you know, Paul Bentley wouldn't even necessarily have to come back, but at the same time, I feel like Paul Bentley is like one of the perfect people to do Vision, like, especially since he had Jarvis and it was all based off Jarvis. So I'd almost think that Paul Bentley would have to do it again, because they essentially downloaded Jarvis. If that's what happened, it would have been Jarvis. So it would still have Paul Bentley's voice. So I assume it would still be Paul Bentley, and they wouldn't necessarily change actors. But if they did change actors, I'm sure that they'd somehow explain that. But so moving on to Heimdall. Before Heimdall died, he sent Bruce Banner to Earth, and that's where he crashed in Sanctum Sanctorum, as I was saying before. Heimdall died, and Loki was also one of the ones who died. So I was right about that. Heimdall and Loki, I feel like their deaths are more permanent. Like, Loki just straight up got his neck snapped, and it was just, it just felt more permanent with that, just the way that his lifeless body there. But him and Heimdall, I believe, are more permanent. The reason why I don't think Gamora is permanent is because when Gamora was killed, Thanos ended up having to sacrifice her for the Soul Stone. Thanos went to this planet, which I'll end up getting into a little bit more about this planet in a later video. But pretty much what had happened was, was that Thanos had gone to this planet, and we find out that Gamora knew about the Soul Stone way before, like, maybe even a little bit before her first Guardians movie. But she knew about it, and she lied about it, saying that she didn't know about it. And so when Thanos is torturing her sister Nebula, which was kind of a nod to in the comics when Nebula was being tortured in there as well. But it wasn't, like, the comics when she was tortured, I feel like it kind of lasted a lot longer than it did in the movies, because she wasn't, like, tortured during the entire movie. She ended up escaping and all that when Thanos and Gamora went after the Soul Stone. But when they went to get the Soul Stone, the keeper of the Soul Stone had told them that it's a soul for soul. When you receive the Soul Stone, you have to give up something or someone that you love, and it has to, because the Soul Stone has to accept your sacrifice or your offering, basically. And Gamora's laughing like, ha ha ha, there's no one that you love, there's nothing that you love, you just hate everything, you want everything gone. And meanwhile, Thanos, he's kind of tearing up and just chucks her right in there. And he gets the Soul Stone. So obviously he loved something. But the reason why I don't think that Gamora's dead, yes, they showed her death, and they showed her lifeless body just sprawled out on the ground. But I think that one of the biggest things is that soul for soul, in all honesty, long story short, I think that she's trapped in the Soul Stone. And they're just somehow gonna end up having to get her out, because a lot of the Guardians were like dusted and lost. Like, I think Quill and Rocket I remember correctly, were the only two that didn't get dusted. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I believe those are the only two that did not get dusted. It was a lot to take in at first, but like I said, you just have to remember that these characters that were dusted are coming back. We just don't know how yet. But Gamora, I believe, is possibly in the Soul Stone, in the Soul World. And I think Thanos even kind of travels to the Soul World off and on. I'm not 100% sure how that necessarily worked. Like, I don't know. Because there's a few scenes... There's a few scenes where he's waking up out of water. He's just kind of like, especially towards the end, where he's just kind of sitting there, and it's that very farm-like moment at the end of Infinity Gauntlet, where he's just like, I did it, cool, you know. And he's just so proud of himself, you know, and smiling. And it's a possibility that he's in the Soul World there too, but. Yeah, I believe that that's one way that they could get Gamora back. Another death that we presume would be Death. I would presume would be Death, but again, I don't think he's dead. Would be the Collector. That whole scene where the Guardians face Thanos for the first time. They go up against the Collector. Or Thanos goes up against the Collector, but all of it was because of the Reality Stone. And Thanos reveals that the Reality Stone made the whole scene. And when the Reality Stone, when Thanos activates the Reality Stone, everything disappears, and the Collector's vault was all up in flames and everything, and the Collector ends up disappearing too, as if, hey, the Collector already died and is disposed of somewhere. But we didn't actually see his death. Like, we did not see physical confirmation that the Collector is dead. And I don't think that he is dead. Mainly because, yes, the MCU has confirmed, or yes, the directors have confirmed that he and the Grandmaster are brothers, just like in the comics. And we really have not seen that interaction with each of them yet. So I think that we still have that to come. And I don't know. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that. Also, spoiler alert. Well, everything's been a spoiler alert. But, extra bonus, spoiler alert. The keeper of the Soul Stone this whole time has been the Red Skull. Don't know how he got there. Well, we know how he got there through the first Captain America movie, where he was flying through space, got sucked into the Tesseract. But we don't know. We don't know how he came across this role, other than he is no longer able. Like, he can't really wield a Infinity Stone. He's kind of seems like he's cursed to be the keeper of the stone and unable to wield it. So, but we know that Red Skull's alive. We know where he's at. So hopefully we get to see a lot more of him. So exciting. But yeah, so that's... Oh, end credit scene. Nick Fury and Maria Hill show up. They're not anywhere else in the movie, but they show up this time, or at the end credit scene, and they end up dusting, and you see Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury almost say it, but he ends up saying motherfuck, and then just going away before he could finish that word, and that YouTube would probably make me bleep out. But before he finishes it, he drops his pager like device, and all of a sudden, a couple seconds later, you see Captain Marvel's symbol pop up on it. So he's called Captain Marvel into the fight, and that's where the movie ends, and that's where we're left off with speculations for Avengers 4. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think is going to happen in Avengers 4. Let me know how you guys think that this is all going to be fixed. How are the dusted heroes and people going to be undusted, and how is Thanos going to be defeated? What are the possibilities of Vision and Gamora both coming back, and the fact that the Collector's still alive? Let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like button. And also, subscribe if you guys haven't already. And hit the bell to get notified so that you can be notified when I put out a new video. So, that's all I got for right now. Free Comic Book Day is coming up May 5th. And I'll definitely, I don't know if I'll be actually like vlogging then, but I'll definitely be posting a video about the free comics that I'll get that day. And do probably a couple more videos in between now and then, especially for Star Wars Day. May the 4th is coming up. So May the 4th be with you. I guess I should do more like that. May the 4th be with you. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.